Okay, so like, it's gonna be difficult to explain. So I actually did beat the game basically, but I hated the ending I got, so I redid it up to here, up to this point. So yeah, but we can't redo anything about it. So we're stuck with these two options, and one option is I become a demon, fucking queen or some shit, or I have sex with this lady, I think. And I already did the demon option because I thought maybe it would get us back the boys, but no, of course it didn't. So I'll play through both endings, so, and you guys can see both endings that we get. So here we go. I'm gonna do the second one, the fucking one, where we have sex with this lady, apparently. I guess you do. I don't know. And then I'll do the Demon Queen one again.
No screaming now. Too early, silly girl.
I could only stare up at the woman above me. I still felt weak, not having the strength to move or fight her off. She was very beautiful, and I felt more anger than amazement.
Why do the boys like you? You're unique, yes, but that can't be all that you have going for you.
Rage began to consume my core again. This woman, whoever she was making me mad. Sorry, slight interruption. Rage began to consume my core again. This woman, whoever she was making me mad. She must have known as she let another smirk grow on her face.
Ooh, you're feisty. That could be why.
Before I could bite her hand in anger, she removed her hand from my lips, standing up and staring down at me from her place next to my bed. I quickly sat up and glared daggers at the intruder. Who the hell are you, and why are you in my room? The woman began to laugh, making the rage inside me increase. I wanted to punch her, but I waited for her answer.
How silly of me. I forgot that we demons are not well known of in your world. You can call me Diana, little human.
Diana? Demon? You're a demon?
I am, but I'm much more than just an average demon.
What do you mean?
Silly girl. I'm a succubus.
I stared at Diana in shock. A succubus. First incubi, now a succubi? Great. I have to have now met both genders of sex demons. Diana crossed her arms under her bosom and looked at my body. Jesus.
Well, you are pretty.
See, I've already read through all of this before, but I'm just rereading it because it's been a while. Because it's actually been a week since I last recorded, but I didn't like the ending, so I'm just going to show you guys both endings. So, yeah. Well, you are pretty. That's what she said. So.
But you seem very reckless. Too reckless.
I moved out and stood from my bed, still glaring at Diana. Why are you here?
Well, I came here to clean up what the boys clearly forgot to clean. Men. So sloppy.
What do you mean by that?
I mean erasing your memories, sweetie.
This woman isn't serious, is she? She comes into my room and spouts this, this was ridiculous. I began to walk towards my door, wanting to leave my room. The boys could get rid of her. I had no mind about dealing with her myself.
The boys are gone, sweetie.
I froze in place. What? They were already gone? No way. I turned to Diana, glaring hard at her as she kept a smirk to me. You're lying.
Am I? If you want to go see for yourself, you can. But I promise you'll be wasting your time.
I stared, trying to find a hint that she was lying. She had to be. The boys wouldn't just up and leave without resting first, right? Diana crossed her arms and waited for me to make a choice. I decided to believe her for now. I'd find some hint in this conversation. What do you mean? Take my memories.
Well, we demons can't have just anyone knowing about us. You have to completely devote your soul to learning about us. And even then, it's not always guaranteed that you can be granted knowledge of us.
What makes me not deserve to know everything? I was attacked by devils and found the boys in my house, wounded, and sheltered them. I think I deserve to remember those moments. Diana let out a laugh, running a hand through her hair before looking back to me, amused.
You were attacked by a gang and were almost killed. You found 5 homeless men and let them stay in your home. There's nothing special about either of these instances.
Yes, there was.
A human like you can't understand the rules. The boys themselves aren't even aware of the rules. They'll learn soon enough.
Diana flipped her hair before looking at me with a stern look.
Listen, sweetie. You're not going back to bed or leaving this house with those memories. I'm taking them from you, one way or another.
I glared, standing my ground. You're not taking my memories. I'm not letting you take them.
And what do you plan to do with them, huh? Tell the press? Gossip to your friends that demons exist? Confess to your parents that you had demon servants and were almost killed by a devil gang?
Now she was making me mad. Did she seriously think I was this stupid? These memories were precious to me, and I wasn't going to let her win over my mind. These memories are important to me. I know that other creatures exist. I know that magic exists. I'm more open-minded now.
Open-minded or gullible?
What did she mean by that? The point of being open-minded was to be open to all thought. How was that any close to being gullible?
There is nothing to learn from remembering the boys that won't bring trouble. I'm merely saving you from that. There are more than just demons who want to keep their existence a secret. There are many creatures in this world that don't want to be known of, and you remembering a small fragment is not acceptable to them without good reason.
Diana smirked.
If you would have kept the boys, or at least had one of them around, they'd be a little more lenient to listen to your pleas. However, you're about to go into tomorrow without any of them around.
I couldn't believe my ears. There were more than just demons. Other fictional creatures existed. There was a system. What? Diana sighed and snapped her fingers, lifting my body up off the ground with her magic.
Look, I can kill you and no longer waste what little time I have, or I can erase your memories and go on with my life. I have more important things to do above arguing with you.
I looked down at the ground and saw something that made every nerve in my body quickly quake in fear. On the ground was a large open mouth with sharp, wet teeth, leading to an empty black abyss. I could feel the heat from the mouth's breath panning against my floating body. I'm not yelling like that. I looked at Diana, who was looking at me with a stern and almost heartless gaze.
Make a choice, sweetie. Give up your memories, or be a demon's snack. I warn you, he's quite the biter.
I was panicking. I was about to die again. The boys were here to protect. The boys weren't here to protect me. What was I going to do? And I'm going to make a deal, because there were 2 endings that I got with Make a Deal. The other one I died. The other one I just lost my memories. These seem more interesting, so I'm going to do these. Then I remember demons have a conscience. They weren't heartless without reason. She could be reasoned with. She seemed like a businesswoman. Wait.
What? You're wasting my time.
What about a deal, huh? Diana raised an eyebrow. I was afraid she wasn't one to listen. But what if she was okay. Diana raised an eyebrow. I was afraid she wasn't one to listen. What if she was ruthless as I imagined her to be?
I'm listening.
What? Really? Was she really willing to listen to me? She didn't drop me in the pit of death, but she didn't let me out of her spell. Now was a good time to try, as I need to try reason. These memories are precious to me, but they're not worth me losing my life.
Of course.
I mean, if I die, people will try to explanations to why I died. Or where I disappeared to.
Then just hand over your memories.
What if I traded them to you instead? You seem like a reasonable businesswoman. A trade is better than forcing me to give in anyway. This was insane. I didn't even know if she was willing to listen. She already had me hanging over a pit of death. The only thing I could hope was for her to be forgiving enough to listen to my reason.
Well, speak your terms. What do you want in exchange?
I let out a revealed sigh. revealed. I let out a relieved sigh. She was willing to listen to me further. Well, what can you give me in return for them?
I'm a demon. I can give you anything within reason. Money, men, women, power. Name it. Just make it worth the price.
She could really give me anything? My mind began to wander. What did I want? See? Okay, so I picked power before, and I got the whole fucking stuff. I didn't like the ending. I'm not gonna like either of these endings because I don't like her. I haven't developed with her as a character. But these are the only endings I got with the story I took. So, yeah, let's just do this. I heard Diana stifle a laugh.
Me? Are you serious? What do you mean, me?
I looked at Diana again. She was indeed scary, but she was gorgeous, and somehow she interested me. More so than the boys. I mean, you staying with me for a little while. I want to get to know you. And these rules you're talking about.
A human wanting to know more about a demon and the rules. You're really trying to step over your place, especially if you'll be losing those memories in the end.
I'm serious. I'll give you my memories and my energy if you stay here for a couple of days, a day even. It'll be worth it.
Completely willingly?
Completely willingly.
And if you don't fulfill your end of the bargain?
Then you can feed me to your pit beast. Did that really slip out of my mouth? Was I really wanting to put my life back on the line again? If it meant keeping my memories for a little longer, then yes. Diana looked at me, scanning my body with her eyes for any signs of false intent. I didn't have any, so Diana sighed and snapped her fingers again. The demon below me vanished and slowly lowered to the ground. I looked at Diana in surprise.
You are very lucky demon magic is so finicky.
What do you mean?
Why do you think demons make deals with humans like you?
I wasn't sure. Demons were still new to me. I had heard stories of people making deals with demons and only ruin coming from it. Diana sighed.
It's one thing to take your memories or your energy. It's another for you to willingly give it. We get more for our effort if the one we make a deal with is willing. Think of it like sex. If I'm aroused and you're willing to open your legs for me, I'll get pleasure. I'll enjoy it. You might enjoy it. And it's done. But if you aren't willing and I force myself on you anyway, it's not so pleasurable for me. Even if I get what I want, it won't be as worth the effort.
Strangely, that made sense. It was very much like a business. If I had what they want, they could negotiate it for it, and they could give it away anyway. But not without a fight. Were they all really business-oriented? My curiosity about demons grew as I realized what deal I had made. So, you'll stay for a couple of days?
A day is enough.
Yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah, sure, fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Diana looked up at me, and looked me up and down once again. I felt a little naked all of a sudden under her gaze, but I ignored it as she shrugged.
All right.
This is odd. I'm confused. I hadn't taken this route, so I didn't know it actually extended the story a bit. So maybe it won't be ending this episode. So, yeah, it's pretty good, man. Diana kept her eyes on me, unsure what was going on from the look on her face.
So, what do you want to know? You're obviously curious about demons enough to make a deal with me.
My first thought shot to her. But then I remembered the boys. Not all my questions were answered, and I wanted to know everything. First of all, who exactly are you? Diana chuckled before crossing her arms.
You may refer to me as simply Diana. As I said before, I'm a succubus, and I intend to bring the boys back home.
Back home? What do you mean? Back to the demon world?
Precisely. They don't belong here, and it's imperative that they return.
Why?
Did they not tell you? They're runaway royals.
I couldn't believe my ears. What? They were royalty? Why would they run away from royalty? Diana simply smirked at my new surprised face.
Ah, so they didn't tell you. How unfortunate. You were in the presence of a demon prince and his noble brothers, and you didn't even know.
I felt myself unconsciously walk over and sit on my bed. They hid something gigantic from me. Why? Did they not trust me? Then again, It had only been a couple of days, yet they helped me and were here for me regardless, acting like servants instead of noblemen. I gripped my head in frustration. What am I supposed to believe?
Believe whatever you wish. The confusion will fade away soon enough, regardless.
I looked to Diana, who only gave me an almost somber look in return. She was serious about removing my memories, but she would keep her end of the bargain until I learned all I could. That and I felt thrilled to have her. Maybe it was because she was a succubus, I don't know. I sighed and faced Diana. So, how did you get to the human world? How did the boys get here?
With the help of a human, in both of our cases. There's truly no need for details beyond that. Any human can cast a demon's summoning spell. It's just a matter of what happens during the summoning and after where things get tricky.
What do you mean?
Well, if a human is willing, only part of their life force is taken from them, and they are given one chance to open a bridge between our worlds to allow the demon they desire to come through. The more demons come through, the more life force the spell takes. Luckily for the poor human that brought them here, the boys sacrificed some of their own powers to open the bridge instead of letting the spell feed solely on the human. The human lived, and the boys came through.
That almost made sense. Something in my mind clicked, but I couldn't clear it out to figure out what it was. I only nodded to Diana. What? But her granddad's supposed to have died, though, bringing them here. And you were the same?
Somewhat. However, I don't care to go into details about how I came here. You'll forget soon enough.
That's not part of the deal.
You wish to have me around for more information. I get to decide what information to give.
Cheater.
It's not cheating if it's not a broken rule.
I huffed and crossed my arms and legs. Diana was a game player, and I didn't like her rules. However, they were the rules I had to accept in order to keep my memories a little while longer. I'd find a way to remember. She wasn't going to win. Diana let out a small chuckle and ran her hand through her hair.
Well, I believe I should head to bed. If I'm to stay here, then I need some form of sleep.
I watched Diana cross her arms. What was it? Oh, cross the room. Cross her arms. I watched as Diana crossed the room to the door and opened it. She turned to me with a small wink.
Have a good night. See you in the morning.
Before I could respond, she exited my room and closed the door behind her. I stared. It was like she was in control. I almost gritted my teeth at the thought. She wasn't the master of my house. I was. I huffed and crawled back under the covers. How did my life get so complicated? What was going on with me? I must have had serious bad luck. I sighed and covered myself with blankets, wanting tonight to end. I needed tomorrow to come. School would take my mind off of things. If school actually happened anyway. I awoke that morning minutes before my alarm. I felt slightly groggy, but I didn't exactly feel bad. It was more of a physical exhaustion, with a mind ready to take on the day. I stretched and quickly get changed in my clothes before heading downstairs with my bag. As I reached the lobby, I stepped and sniffed the sudden new smell in the air. Breakfast? I continued on my way to the dining room to see Diana lying out plates and covered with sliced fruit on the table. There were delicious smelling eggs, toast, bacon, ham, veggies, and juice. I felt my mouth salivate. But then I remembered that it was Diana serving breakfast, and I shook my head. What are you doing?
You're up. Come. Breakfast. I didn't know what you liked, so I made everything I knew humans ate for this time of day.
I walked over and scanned the table before giggling. Diana raised an eyebrow at me.
And what is so funny?
You didn't make everything breakfast related. You forgot a couple things.
Like what?
Coffee, pancakes, waffles. Diana looked at me almost insulted before looking at the table and recounting the plates. I laughed harder, making her glare at me.
I haven't been in the human world long enough to know everything, alright? Unlike the boys, I know little to nothing about what you humans eat in your homes.
At the mention of the boys, I suddenly remembered them. They treated me like part of their family, caring for me and making sure I was okay beyond anything else. They were servants to me, and I let them go. I let out a sigh at the memory. Little did I know, Diana stared at me with the entire time. I shook my head and looked at the table, getting an empty plate and filling it with what I wanted before sitting and eating. Diana remained standing, watching me. I felt almost naked under her gaze, so I looked over and pausing my feeding. Aren't you going to eat?
I already ate.
What? What did you eat?
You really wish to know?
Yes. I wanted to know more about demons. I wanted to know about her. Of course I said yes. Diana stared in surprise at me before smirking a bit and reaching into her cleavage. I watched as she pulled out a small purple vial. She popped the cork and poured a mere couple sipfuls into her palm before corking the vial and placing it back in her dress. Diana closed her eyes and closed her hand. What was she doing? This was odd to watch, yet at the same time, I was practically at the edge of my seat in curiosity. What was she going to do? Her hand started to open, almost like a blossoming flower, and revealed a small peach-sized fruit. It was purple and it had almost an enchanting smell to it that made my food seem almost disgusting.
A plant from the abyssal plains. We call it a sweet flower. Would you like to try it?
No. Kill me. There was no need for me to try it. It was enticing, yes, but I wasn't interested. I sat back and continued to eat my breakfast on my plate. Diana shrugged and peeled away at the fruit, and to reveal blackish, juicy center, she pulled out a perfect slice from it and slipped it into her mouth. I had to admit, the smell was practically addicting itself. But I made my choice. Diana ate the fruit, and I ate my breakfast. So what exactly is it?
It's a fruit, just like how you humans have apples or oranges. It's sweet and full of energy.
I watched as Diana slipped another bite of the fruit into her mouth before continuing. I had to admit, watching her eat it was kind of like tantalizing, yet I kept my composure.
It's only grown in my kingdom. Many demons try to take it and plant it outside of my lands, but because of how we treat the fruit, it only grows for us. It's one of the many reasons I have to protect my kingdom at all costs.
What does being here help you protect your kingdom? How does being here help you protect your kingdom? Diana looked at me with a raised eyebrow before turning to me in realization. Did I not know something? Another thing. Great.
The boys didn't tell you that either. Interesting.
What didn't they tell me?
I am expected to wed one of them and join my kingdom with theirs.
Oh, that's neat. The world practically halted at her words. I stared. What? How could that be? You had to marry one of them?
Yes. In order to make sure their ruler didn't ravage my kingdom with his army, I was offered as a bride to his heir, the eldest.
She was to marry James? It made sense. If she was a princess, he was the oldest of the boys, then he was a prince ready for marriage. Still, an arranged marriage? Isn't that a little unfair to both of you, though? See, that's weird. This plot is actually, I don't know, it's getting alright. It's just, I wasn't expecting it to be longer than it was. Like, I was expecting it to end with, like, sex or something, because that's what it sounded like, you know? But hey, let's keep going. Diana looked at me, as if she knew what I was going to ask, what I had asked. She knew I was going to ask what I had asked. She then smiled, but for some reason, it hurt to see. She seemed almost sad.
Sad as it may be, it's the reality of the situation. I either have to retrieve the boys and bring them back, or I have to fight the Demon Lord. And believe me, that is practically an impossible battle.
Diana started to lick her fingers at the fruit juices that remained on her skin, but her eyes became almost distant as she stared at the table beside us. For some reason, I felt bad for her. Eventually, my alarm started going off and reminded me that to be ready for Naomi and Suzu. Right, school was a thing. I stood from my chair and grabbed my bag, walking out of the dining room.
And where are you going, might I ask?
I have to go to school.
Ah, I see.
I looked at Diana, feeling that she was up to something. She had her arms crossed, looking at me as if I owed her something. What?
Well, I don't exactly want you to leave this house with the memories you have. I'd be breaking the rules if I allowed that.
But we had a deal. You stay for a day, I keep my memories until you leave. I still have school to go to, though.
Then skip school and stay home.
What?
That, or I go with you.
What? Diana was crazy to suggest going to my school was practically signing a death wish. Everyone would ask her about her. What would I tell everyone? That's crazy.
I can't let you leave this house with those memories unless I'm with you. Rules are rules.
What rules?
The rules of the world, sweetie.
Rules of the worlds? What was she talking about?
The rules applies to any magical being that lives in the human world. They were established on a day you humans might know as the birth date of Jesus Christ.
Wait, so does that mean Christianity is legitimate?
It's a story to some, a religious faith to others. I won't deny or prove a religion exists because that's a human matter. Magical beings, on the other hand, don't pay attention unless they're angels from the world of heaven.
My curiosity was pecking at my mind from a frantic bird, like a frantic bird. I wanted to know more. Diana was giving me answers, and I wanted to ask more questions. However, I had to go to school. I was conflicted.
Stay, and I'll tell you more of these rules.
If I go,
Then I take your memories. Now.
I was trapped. There was no way I could bring Diana with me without some repercussion. If she took my memories now, then I'd go to school without remembering anything. However, if I stayed, I could learn more, but I'd miss the school. I'll stay. What? I bit my lip. What did I really want to stay? I could feel my fingers run over my phone and call up Naomi. Without even listening to the phone, I spoke into it. Hey girls, I'm feeling really sick. Don't worry about coming and don't come over. I'm staying home and getting better. I hung up without even acknowledging Naomi or Suzu. On the other hand, Diana crossed her arms and waited for me to turn to her fully. I threw my bag to the side and looked at Diana, really ready to learn more. You're going to tell me everything.
I'll do the best I can.
I walked up the stairs with Diana behind me. I glanced into the dining room to see it already clean. I guess Diana used her magic to clean it after us. I continued and wound up. Walking into my bedroom, I sat on the bed as Diana stood in the balcony window. It was just like last night. So, I can ask anything, and you'll answer, right?
I'll give you the best answers I can give.
Knowing Diana, it could have been a white lie. She already had hidden some details, but I guess she had her reasons. However, I would not know more. I would need to know more than just details. The rules of the worlds, what are they?
They are the heart and soul of the human world, created and approved by all 5 worlds on the human date, December 25th.
5 worlds?
In
I
human
ate a piece.
terms, there is the human world, heaven,
I ate a piece of this
purgatory,
biscuit that I have down here.
hell, and the abyss.
Some professional. What are the rules of this agreement?
These rules dictate the behavior of otherworldly creatures in the human world. Without them, there would be constant war between angels and devils, while the vampires would try and enslave humanity. Demons are merely the watchers, but often the devils or vampires will try and coax them into joining them.
So angels and vampires exist too?
Yes, angels are from heaven, watching over the human world with a careful eye. Vampires are from the human world, but pass on to purgatory before rebirth.
I stared at my lap. This was all amazing, yet this wasn't satisfying my curiosity. Did I want to know more? Did I want to know about demons? This is all a huge deal, and I felt both over and underwhelmed. So these rules have rules over humans. Humans can't know about magic at all.
Correct. Humans, to the angels, need to remain pure and innocent. So they dictated that humans cannot know of the other worlds or of other beings. The rest of us agreed. Only a select few are allowed to know the truth about us.
But that's hardly fair, isn't it?
Well, take a look at yourself. You're barely proficient with magic. Your kind is too focused on who will fight the next war or who will screw the next person. I'm sorry to admit this, but humans are the weakest race in the planes of existence. The only ones who truly protect you are angels.
I felt angry that she made humans sound inferior. Yeah, we had our faults, but It wasn't like any of the other races were any better, right? There was no way humans were the inferior race. Well, we're not inferior.
Oh, you're not now? Really?
Diana stared at me, looking me up and down before smirking a bit.
Let's go on a little trip, shall we?
I guess so. I raised my eyebrow. What was she on about? First, she wanted to stay here. Now she wanted to go out. What was with this girl?